This isn't clickbait. This isn't clickbait. Bitcoin is moments away from critical breakout. Critical breakout. We've been tracking the consolidation of Bitcoin for, I guess, over a month now. It is getting squeezed. And going into this week, I think it's time we all have our seatbelts buckled. What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into the video real quick. 10-15 second clip. This is from September 10th. What Bitcoin does in the short term, meaning is Bitcoin going to continue the short-term bounce to this Fibonacci retracement that we talked about? If so, we're going to see upward momentum on this RSI line on the weekly chart. So we will see potential bounce here if we get some bullishness. So that is me. This goes back like a little bit. September 10th. This is me. I don't do predictions a lot, everyone. You know that. But this is me talking about, I think we're going to revisit this exact green rectangle. We haven't yet. This is like 11,400 to, I think, 11,900 range. But confluent with that, I talked about this RSI on the weekly chart when we were kind of getting a bounce off of this area. And I mentioned we're going to see continued uptrend in that RSI. So far we did. It was very key support here. It's an area we don't want to fall below. If you've seen my videos talking about that area, it's a very key area in Bitcoin in an uptrend. We saw it act as support after the last 2016 halving, going into the bull market that everybody remembers. Into 2017, and we even saw it act as support all the way back here. This is back in 2016, prior to the 2016 halving, but this was in an uptrend as well. So really key area on the RSI on the weekly. We have to keep tracking it, but digging into the charts now and kind of into the title of this video, time to get ready for this, in my opinion, this upcoming week. We have consolidation. We made a little bit of run off of that September 10th video to around 11,000, 11,140, or 11,100 to 11,100 or 200. If you remember, the 11,140 area was the neckline of this head and shoulders that we tracked that Bitcoin broke. So there's some resistance there, and Bitcoin hasn't broken through it yet. My prediction is still in play, obviously, but we're getting very close to finding out one way or another. Now, when I say breakout, Bitcoin's getting ready to break out. It could be to the upside, the upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle, or to the downside. Now, I tweeted a little bit ago, I said 10,730 to 10,820 is major short-term resistance. This is truly short-term resistance. So if you're watching anything tonight, watch Bitcoin literally right now into tomorrow morning and see what it does, how it interacts with this area. Things could progress very bullish if BTC breaks through. If we're looking at a 6-hour chart, you know the story that has been broken down for Bitcoin. It's just been the story of Fibonacci retracements over and over again, right? The swing low back here to the swing high, coming down to support down here in the Fibonacci retracement area. We had that swing high to this swing low, coming up here to this Fibonacci area. That's a 618 to 786, the green rectangle. And you can see Bitcoin just bounces around and consolidates like ping pong in between these Fibonacci retracement channels. Again, I can chart this swing low to the previous swing high. Bitcoin, we covered this, down to this Fibonacci retracement. Do you see Bitcoin being squeezed? Bitcoin being consolidated? And I love that news has played a part in Bitcoin moving in this pattern and in between these Fibonacci retracements. So all of those things said and done, Bitcoin has really consolidated. This purple rectangle you see here, 74% to the apex of this symmetrical triangle. Very key area. It's not exact. It could be before, it could be a little after, but Bitcoin is clearly getting ready to decide what direction it's going to go in. Now, one thing is very clear that I want to stress to you. It truly, I think a lot of it is going to depend going into this week. I really do think it's a really important week for Bitcoin because all of this plays into the macro charts. We're talking about, is Bitcoin getting ready to put in another lower high? And we've talked about this on this channel. this is really what's happening right now. Is this going to be a lower high in this long-term trend? This is going back to the 2017 bull market high, last summer swing high. Is this going to be a lower high? That's what's being decided right now on the 6-hour chart. And on this really micro look, meaning this week, we're entering an apex of a really critical area. The reason it's critical is because we have a breakout target through the Fibonacci retracement that I predicted like around September 10th in that video, which is up here. Our breakout target actually breaks through that area up to right around here, 12,500. And our breakdown target is all the way down here, right around $8,900 or so. And we're talking about just that really long, you see this light yellow line is that long-term yellow trend line that goes back all the way to, and this is a 6-hour chart, it's going to be tough to see, but it goes all the way back to 2017 bull market high. And if you look at the weekly chart, actually, it's also, as you know, I've talked about it a lot on this channel, it's also right around the 50-week moving average. Really key area in terms of Bitcoin. But again, micro look, we're getting close to seeing what direction Bitcoin is getting ready to go in. And I mentioned the thing that's going to, I think, determine this going into this week is basically this chart. This is the volatility, S&P 500. This is the fear index. You remember we had that huge spike of fear with COVID in March. And I mean, this is something that hasn't been seen since like 2008. What happened when the markets crashed. We talked about this was going to recover. We're going to come back down. We saw that. We saw that reflected in the huge bounce in traditional markets and Bitcoin. And I think a lot of it is going to, or a lot of what Bitcoin does next, in particular with this current move on the 6-hour chart, is going to have to do with what are markets doing in general, and also something that we can't control besides just what is S&P 500 doing, and here it is. What kind of news happens? And that's just something nobody knows. It's not something I can tell you, but we know Bitcoin has been very resilient in terms of negative news across all industries and across all spectrums, whether it's political, whether it's cryptocurrency markets related. Bitcoin's been resilient in terms of just staying calm, staying steady, and continuing to consolidate. But what happens next could be the trigger for Bitcoin's next move, meaning S&P performs, traditional markets perform, people are feeling good, the fear index is coming down. Bitcoin very, very well could at least retest that 11,400 to 11,900 Fibonacci retracement. We could get that breakout, maybe resistance, come back down, continuation to the upside. If we get bad news, if something negative happens in the world, we wake up and there's all this crazy stuff going on Twitter that we weren't expecting, we could get a breakdown. This really, truly could be the catalyst for what happens next in Bitcoin. Truly, I think this week is going to be crazy. I could be doing a video in 5 days from now, and potentially, I could be wrong. Bitcoin maybe just, does nothing. Maybe trickles through the apex. Doesn't happen often, but it could happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I think something crazy is going to happen. And I track it. That is what I'm here to do. I'm just relaying the data to you, charting it out for you, giving you my opinion. I hope it's valuable, but above all, it's for entertainment purposes, everyone, as we get through this, because this market requires patience. So hope you're having a good Sunday. Have an awesome, awesome start to your week. If you're here, you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe, and I appreciate you. Have a great week. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.